Let's go to the Platypus Cup. We call it the Platypus Cup. Maybe you still call it the Civil War. They play for the Platypus Trophy of some sort, yeah?
Yes.
Kind of a combo between a duck and a beaver.
Yes, of course.
Oregon State at 8-3 on the road at Oregon 10-1. Oregon favored by 13.5 points. This one's a Friday nighter, 8:30 Eastern on Fox. There is a hidden matchup in this game that we need to discuss. But before I get there, let me play the game that I played with the Apple Cup. If we swapped out Oregon State for Texas A&M, if A&M were the 13.5 point dog on the road in Autzen Stadium, I don't think you'd think twice about that line. I don't think you would. I wouldn't. But
I don't know. A&M has a defense that Oregon State can't match. Okay.
Consider the baggage. Consider the baggage. You still want to gloss over that point spread? Keep in mind, Oregon also left Oregon State for dead. They joined the Big Ten after Oregon State put the finishing touches on a $162 million stadium renovation at Reser Stadium. They went in the hole to build the stadium up, and then everybody left.
Yeah.
They all left them.
Yep.
Is that the kind of university you want to associate yourself with, Dan?
Sure. I don't know. It's fine by me.
It's cold-blooded. It's very
I've enjoyed
cold-blooded.
Reser Stadium, by the way. I've been a couple times. It's a good time. Good potato salad, good stadium.
Good potato salad. Oregon State has had this game circled. They almost peed in the punch for Washington a week ago. Now they can nuke Oregon's playoff hopes with a win.
Totally. Salmonella. Oregon
Your
better be up to
words, your
temp.
music, not mine.
That bird, those ducks better be up to temp.
Get it to 165 degrees.
Yeah.
Per the
USDA.
USDA. FDA is different. What is your pick here?
I'm going Oregon big.
How big?
I think Oregon's going to win this game by 3+ touchdowns.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's not because I don't think Oregon State is decent, pretty good, whatever. And they're certainly above the teams that Oregon has played and made mincemeat out of recently. You know, they're a more complete team than USC. And certainly when you look at Stanford and Cal, and just a number of these teams are flawed. Arizona State last week. Like, it's just Oregon State's on a different level. They're better. They're more dangerous. They've got better quarterback play. Damian Martinez is one of the absolute best backs in this conference, one of the handful best in the country. The way Oregon is ready for these games and has been ready for these games by and large this year, playing the way that they did against Utah. I think Oregon State they're going to be ready for this game, but I think there's just lingering dejection. Is dejection a word? Do we think that's a word from last week against Washington? A very winnable game at home against Washington. I think they pushed all their emotional chips into that. And now you talk about leaving for dead. How much longer is Jonathan Smith going to be the coach at Oregon State? And I don't blame him. I think in a perfect world, he'd love to coach at Oregon State for a long time, make a lot of money, take this team to a lot of big bowl games, but that's not the world in which we live. That's lingering over the program now. I think Oregon corners are going to smother Oregon State receivers. I think DJU has been off. This offensive line for Oregon State has been beat up. There's only so much energy and spirit you can muster with a backup offensive line. There's only so much energy and spirit you can muster if your quarterback's throwing late. There's only so much if Oregon's defensive line is overwhelming your offensive line. There's only so much you can muster if Bucky Irving and Jordan James are just making, 8-9 yards of beaver patties every single snap.
Patties, okay.
So I think there are too many ways for Oregon to win this game, and they're going to be emphatic about this, especially because potentially they could be in a conversation about the playoff with a win here, with a great performance against Washington, and they don't have a lot of resume chunks to display.
No.
Oregon State would be a ranked resume chunk to display. So winning this game 45-13 is emphatic. My final score, I'm going to say 45-17 Oregon.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. What do you have?
I'll say this. The hidden matchup that concerns me is Oregon State's rushing defense trying to stop Bucky Irvin and Jordan James. You mentioned it. And the Oregon rushing attack just on the whole. In terms of rushing yards per game, if you go out online and look for it, Oregon State's actually pretty good. They're 18th nationally. But to quote the wise prophet Rafiki, look harder. Who's Oregon State played with a running attack that scares you? What teams have they played that run it 35 times?
Well, what do they do? Do they play Cal? Jaden Ott? He's a good back.
Yeah. And they gave up a ton of yardage in that game. That's sort of my point. I think if you look deep down at the Oregon State rushing defense, you're going to find it's not all that good. The numbers make it look better than it is, but it's fool's gold.
Yeah.
And the Ducks are going to run for like 250 and win going away. I am going to do this for you, Dan Rubenstein, because I love you.
Yeah.
Lock of the week.
All right. Doesn't bother me.
I think Oregon's locked in, and I think this is 49-20 in favor of the Ducks. They win big going away. We agree.
Yeah.